Okay, so on previous turn we have discussed about work. Okay, work is defined as the dot product of force and displacement. Okay, so if the angle between force and displacement is theta, then the work done can be written as F into S into cos theta. Okay, now today we'll discuss about conservative and non-conservative forces. Okay, conservative forces are those, the work done, if the work done by the forces is independent of the path, it is only depending upon the initial and the final position. Okay, so whichever path it is taken and the force which is involved is independent of the path. That is, if you find out the work done by taking the body along different paths, the work done will be the same. That is, the work done is independent of the path along which the body is taken. Such forces we call it as conservative forces. Okay, and the net work done in a closed loop for these forces will be equal to 0. Okay, now let's understand with the help of an example. The gravitational force is conservative force. Now you lift a body vertically upwards, find out the work done. Work done we know is equal to mgh. Now take it along different path through stairs if it is taken. Then also the work done you will get it to be mgh. Take it along inclined plane. Then also you will get the work done to be mgh. So the work done is independent of the path. It is only depending upon the initial and the final position. So such type of forces we call it as conservative forces. Okay, and the net work done in a closed loop is equal to 0. Okay, so if the body is lifted upwards, some amount of work has to be done on the body. And when the body is released from a height, that much amount of work is obtained. So on one side, the work done is positive, and on the other side, the work done is negative. So the total work done in a closed loop, it will be equal to 0. Okay, first you write its definition and then we'll explain, then we'll prove it that the gravitational force is conservative. Okay, so write down conservative forces. Right, if the work done by a force, if the work done by a force is independent of the path, is independent of the path, but only depends, on the initial and the final position, but only depends on the initial and the final position, then such forces are called as conservative forces. Such forces are called as conservative forces. Write down the net work done. The net work done by these forces. The net work done by these forces in a closed loop. In a closed loop is equal to 0. The net work done by these forces in a closed loop is equal to 0. Write its examples. Gravitational force, example of conservative forces. Gravitational force, electrostatic force, Okay, next year you'll study about electrostatic force. So electrostatic force is also conservative force. Okay, now let's prove that the gravitational force is a conservative force. Okay, so here we are going to prove that gravitational force is a conservative force. Okay, now let any body is lifted through a height h. So this is its initial position, this is its final position, and is lifted through a height h. We'll find out the work done in this case. So first it is taken along this path. Now in the second case, let it is taken along a different path. We'll find out the work done again in this case too also. Let it is taken along this path, that is lifted through a height h only. The work done we'll find out in this case when it is taken along this path, that is from A to B, B to C, and C to D. It has been taken along this path. Then also we'll find out the work done. In the third case, we'll take it, we'll incline it through an inclined plane. Okay, we'll push it along an inclined plane, but the height is the same only, h height only. Okay, so it is lifted along the inclined plane. Now also we'll find out the work done. In all the three cases, we'll find out the work done. Okay, in the first case, the work done is equal to force into displacement. Which force is acting? Gravitational force, which is equal to m into g. So the work done is mg into h. So in the first case, gravitational force mg and lifted through a height h, mg into h. Okay, now let's find out the work done in the second case. Some work will be done taking from A to B plus work done in taking from B to C. Work is a scalar quantity. So we are finding out the work done from A to B, work done from B to C, plus the work done from C to D. So the total work done is the work done from A to B, B to C, and C to D. Okay, let this AB height is H1 and CD height is H2. Okay, so let AB is equal to H1 height and CD is equal to H2 height. Okay, now we know that work is equal to force into displacement. We are finding out the work done due to the gravitational force. And in which direction is the gravitational force acting? Vertically downwards. So work done from A to B is mg into the height. And what is the height? H1. Okay, first let's find out the work done from B to C. Okay, then we'll put it over here. Work done in taking the body from B to C. Work done we know is equal to force dot displacement vector, that is F into S into cos 90. Okay, so force is what? Gravitational force. Force is the gravitational force dot the displacement. What is the displacement? BC is the displacement. Okay, from here to here we are finding out the work done. Gravitational force dot displacement. Gravitational force is mg only. Okay, let us write it as fg, or you can write down as mg, into the displacement is bc into cos of angle between them. What is the angle between the gravitational force and the displacement bc when it is taken? We are finding only the work done from B to C. What is the angle? I think you can unmute yourself and give the answer. Gravitational force acting vertically downwards. BC is along the horizontal direction. What is the angle between gravitational force
90.
and the displacement BC?
90.
Yes, what is the angle? 90 degree. Gravitational force acting vertically downwards, displacement is along the horizontal, so it is 90. And what is cos 90 equals to? Cos 90 is equal to 0. So what is the work done by the gravitational force in moving from B to C? It is 0. Okay, now let us substitute it over here. So the work done in the second case. Okay, I'm writing it over here so that it is visible. Work done in the second case is work done from A to B. Work done from A to B is mg into h1. Then the work done from B to C, which we have found out over here, is 0. Work done from C to D is mg into what is the height? Height is h2. Take this mg common. H1 plus H2 is equal to H1 plus H2 is equal to H. So again the work done is equal to mgh. So in the second case also the work done is equal to mgh. First case we lifted vertically upwards. Second case along this path, that is along the stairs we have lifted. Okay, so mgh1 plus mgh2 which is equal to mgh. So the work done in the first and the second case, though we are taking through a different path, but the work done is the same. Now let us find out the work done in the third case also. Okay, when it is slided along the inclined plane. Okay, so for this we have to resolve the forces. Let at any instant the block is over here. We'll draw the forces acting on it. mg vertically downwards, inclined plane exerts a force perpendicular to it, which we call it as the normal reaction. Okay, let the angle of inclination is theta. So extend this line. This angle will also be equal to theta. Resolve mg in two components. This component is mg cos theta and perpendicular to it is mg sin theta. Okay, mg cos theta, which is balancing the normal reaction, and this component is mg sin theta. Okay, let us ignore friction over here. Okay, we are ignoring friction. So the total force is equal to mg sin theta. This is the total force. M into A is equal to mg sin theta. There is no other, we haven't ignored the frictional force. Okay, so MA is equal to mg sin theta. This is the total force. What is the force over here which is applied? M into A. M into A is equal to mg sin theta. Okay, and let it is displaced from here to here. Let that distance is A. Okay, so the work done in the third case is this force, total force, M into A, and let this distance from here to here is S. Okay, so it is displaced along the inclined plane from the bottom to the top, where the vertical height becomes H. This displacement is S along the inclined plane. So MA into S. Now what is the total force equals to? Mg sin theta. So this is equal to mg sin theta into S. From this triangle, find out sin theta. Sin theta is equal to perpendicular H upon hypotenuse, which is S. Perpendicular is the vertical height and the hypotenuse is the displacement S. Substitute it over here. Mg sin theta is H upon S into S, cancels out. So again in the third case also the work done is equal to mgh. So we are taking the body through different paths, but every time the work done is the work done due to the gravitational forces mgh. So we can say that the work done by the gravitational force is independent of the path, and such a force we call it as a conservative force. So gravitational forces are conservative forces. Okay, so you can write down in the same manner by drawing the figure. First figure lifted through a height h, work done. First case mgh. Second figure taken along ABCD path. Height is the same. Initial and the final position are the same. Okay, these positions are the same, but taken along a different path ABCD. So the total work done A to B plus work done B to C plus work done C to D. Okay, we have find out work done from B to C. From B to C is gravitational force. We are finding out the work done due to the gravitational force. Force dot displacement. Which force? Gravitational force dot the displacement. Displacement is BC. Okay, so gravitational force into BC into cos of angle between them. What is the angle between the gravitational force and displacement? 90 degrees. So work done from B to C is 0. So the work done in the second case is mgh1 plus 0 plus mgh2. Take this mg common, h1 plus h2. write it as mgh. So in the second case also we are getting the work done to be mgh. Third case, slided along the inclined plane. So draw all the forces on the body, mg vertically downwards, normal reaction perpendicular to the inclined plane. Extend this line. If this angle is theta, this angle is also equal to theta. Resolve mg in two components. Mg cos theta perpendicular to mg cos theta is mg sin theta. Ignoring the frictional force, so the total force is equal to mg sin theta. M into A, according to Newton's second law, this M into A should be equal to the resultant of the forces along the inclined plane. There is only one force, so Ma is equal to mg sin theta. Now the work done in the third case is the total force into the displacement. Total force is mg sin theta. Displacement S sin theta. Find out from this triangle, which is equal to h upon S. Cancel out S from the numerator and the denominator, and what you get? Work done is equal to mgh. Okay, written. Okay, now write one line. Write down the work done by the gravitational force. The work done by the gravitational force in all three cases. In all three cases is the same. In all three cases is the same. So the work done by gravitational force, does not depend upon the path. Does not depend upon the path along which it is taken. Does not depend on the path along which it is taken. So gravitational force is a conservative force. So gravitational force is a conservative force. Okay, and for a closed loop also the work done will be 0. One side you will get the work done mgh. On the other side, the work done by the gravitational force will be minus mgh. So the total work done in a closed loop will be equal to 0. Okay. So such forces we call it as conservative forces. Next, write down non-conservative forces. Now, what are non-conservative forces? The work done by the force depends on the path also. Okay, besides initial and the final position, the work done is also depending upon the path. Then such forces we call it as non-conservative forces. So write down non-conservative forces. Write down if the work done by a force, depends on the path, along which it is taken, then such a force is called as non-conservative force. Then such a force is called as non-conservative force. Then such a force is called as non-conservative force. Write down the net work done. The net work done in a closed loop. Closed loop means closed path. The net work done in a closed loop is not equal to 0. The net work done in a closed loop is not equal to 0. Okay, and the example is frictional force. It is depending upon the path, rough surface, smooth surface. So example is frictional force. Example, frictional force. Okay, so we discussed about conservative and non-conservative forces. Conservative forces in which the work done is depending upon the path along which it is taken. And if the work done does not depend upon the path along which it is taken, sorry, conservative forces, if the work done, okay, does not depend upon the path, then such forces we call it as conservative forces. Non-conservative forces, if the work done depends on the path along which it is taken. Okay, so work done does not depend upon the path, conservative forces. Depends on the path, non-conservative forces. Okay, next topic, work we have completed. Work we have completed. Now the next topic is power. Okay, enter the master. Okay. Okay, next topic, power. Work completed. Now the next topic, work, power and energy. Yes, power is defined as the rate of doing work. Work done per unit time is called as power. So power is work done per unit time. So how can we define power? Power is rate of doing work, or you can write down it is the work done per unit time. Power is work done per unit time. Okay, we know that work done is force dot displacement vector. Force dot displacement vector, we call it as work done. Now displacement per unit time we know is velocity. So power can also be written as it is the dot product of force and velocity vectors. Power is the dot product of force and velocity vectors. If the angle between force and velocity is theta, then it will be equal to force into velocity into cos theta. F into V into cos theta. Okay, so power is F into V into cos theta. If force and velocity both are given in rectangular components, then power will be equal to Fx into Vx plus Fy into the component of the velocity along the y-axis plus Fz into Vz. This we have already discussed in the scalar product also. Okay, if force and velocity are given in rectangular components, that is the force vector is Fx I cap plus Fy j cap plus Fz k cap, and velocity also given in rectangular components Vx I cap plus Vy j cap plus Vz k cap. Then power is force dot velocity, we get this expression. Okay, next comes its SI unit. SI unit of power is from here joule per second is joule per second, which is called as watt. In order to honor the scientist, its unit is taken as watt. So how can we define 1 watt? 1 watt is 1 joule upon 1 second. This is watt, not work done. Okay, 1 watt is 1 joule upon 1 second. That is, if 1 joule of work is done in 1 second, then the power is said to be 1 watt. So let's define 1 watt. So write down 1 watt is the power. 1 watt is the power when 1 joule of work is done in 1 second. When 1 joule of work is done in 1 second. So 1 watt is the power when 1 joule of work is done in 1 second. Okay, so its SI unit is watt, where 1 watt is equal to 1 joule upon 1 second. Dimensional formula. Dimension of power. Joule m L raised to the power 2 T raised to the power minus 2 upon T. So it would be m L square T raised to the power minus 2 upon T, that is T raised to the power minus 3. Okay, is its dimension. Then the nature of this quantity, it is a scalar quantity. Why? Because it is the dot product of force and velocity vectors. So it is a scalar quantity. So power is a scalar quantity. Okay, here we'll discuss a small topic, efficiency of any engine, any machine or any engine. Efficiency is defined as output power upon input power. Efficiency okay, of any machine or any, it is generally represented by a Greek symbol which is called as eta. This symbol in Greek is called as eta, and generally for the representation of efficiency we use this symbol. Okay, this symbol we call it as eta, and efficiency is given by output power of that machine upon the input power. Output power upon the input power. This we call it as the efficiency of any machine. And for an ideal machine, the efficiency is 100%. 100% generally efficiency we find out in percentage. That is the input power. Whatever input power is given, the same output is obtained. Okay, then the efficiency of a machine is 100%. Okay, it is only for an ideal machine. In practice, no machine is ideal. That is, the efficiency will be always less than 100%. So, for an ideal machine, or an ideal engine, the efficiency is 100%. That is, output power is equal to input power. But in practice, the efficiency is always less than 100%. The efficiency is always less than 100%. Why? Because some of the energy is used to overcome the dissipative forces like the frictional force, all resistive forces. Okay, so that is why the output power will be always less than the input power. Whatever input is given, output will be less than that. So the efficiency is less than 100%. So write down, in actual practice, efficiency is less than 100% because some energy is used up. Some energy is used up in overcoming dissipative forces like frictional force and other resistive forces like frictional force and other resistive forces. Okay, sometimes a bigger unit of power is required. So there we use kilowatt, megawatt. These are the bigger units of the power. So write down, the bigger units of power are kilowatt, where 1 kilowatt is equal to 10 raised to the power 3 watts. Where 1 kilowatt is equal to 10 raised to the power 3 watts. Like the same relation between kilometer and meter. 1 kilometer, 1000 meters. The same way, 1 kilowatt is equal to 1000 watts. Write the other bigger unit, megawatt. Where 1 megawatt is equal to 10 raised to the power 6 watts. 10 raised to the power 6 watts. Okay, write one practical unit also. Horsepower. Practical unit is horsepower, where 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watts. 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watts. Okay, written. Now we'll continue tomorrow. Wait for a minute. Let me take your attendance. Okay, now you can leave the class. Anyone, any doubt?
No, ma'am.